I used to think I needed to build this to store my lumber, or this. No. My shop is far too small for that, so I went a different route. And I bet your wood storage has one fatal flaw. Let's fix that. Hey there, shop goblins. I have a problem specifically with lumber storage. I have too many pieces of lumber that I'm probably never going to use and too many lumber scraps. So I'm building a mobile lumber cart that is space efficient and one that I'll actually be able to move if I need to. And no lumber will be stored in the back where I would have to move the cart to get to it, because that just seems silly. And even though I'm a big fan of the silliness, that is far too silly for me. So two big issues with those larger lumber carts is they're too big to move around and you'll have to move it around to get the lumber from the back. But there is still one more giant flaw, which I'll get to in a little bit, which is really the killer. I'm making the base for my lumber cart, and the base is gonna be big enough to house sections which will be for my smaller scraps up to 24 inches, and it will also be home to the longer lumber storage on the side. I've used many different types of casters over the years, and one takes the pie. I think that's the phrase. Totally joking. One takes the flan. I have this really cool cement step in my garage, so I'm placing the casters in a spot to account for that step. These 3-inch casters are my favorite because you lock them by pushing down, but you unlock them by also pushing down. Where a lot of the casters you'll see online, you'll lock them by pushing the lever down, but to unlock it, you have to pull the lever up with your toe. And I know it seems like a very small, simple thing, but sometimes I have trouble getting my toe underneath or it's uncomfortable, so these casters are the bee's knees. I'll put a link to those casters as well as a link for the plans to this mobile lumber cart in the description below. I am a big fan of not measuring my pieces. Let me explain. What I mean is I like to use referential measurements whenever possible. I'll reference part of the project that I've already built to cut future pieces. For this part, I'm cutting a scrap piece of wood to the exact depth of the cart so I can make sure that the bottom section of this cart that'll hold scrap wood is the right size. Then I'll use a stop block on this king size mobile miter saw station to cut all the pieces for that section. I'll use a stop block for most of the pieces on this cart because a lot of the pieces need to be the exact same size as each other. Not close to the same size, but the exact same size, or it won't quite fit together well. Look how fast I'm going. I'm super fast, and absolutely no editing was done on this part of the video. Joking, and it's extra funny because I am about the slowest builder that has ever been building things, ever. And a little behind the scenes info because I like full transparency. You see I'm wearing the same shirt in this video throughout the entire thing. Well, this was not done in one day. It was done over multiple days. I'm just trying to keep the illusion that this was a very fast project. And although it was pretty quick, it's not like it took me 2 weeks, it just took me a few days. It definitely didn't take one day. It could probably take you or someone else one day, but sadly, not me. I'm putting this whole cart together using hand-cut dovetails. Sorry, I could not keep a straight face. I'm using pocket holes and butt joints with screws. Pocket holes and wood glue will work perfectly for this cart, and I love using pocket holes when I'm using plywood. We'll get to one of my favorite segments in a minute, which I like to call mistakes were made. But the reason I'm making this mobile lumber cart is because the storage solution that I have right now for scrap wood is just not cutting it, pun intended. I realize puns are a lower form of comedy, but I love them. And if you love them as well, we're friends, well on our way of becoming best friends. This is the shelving unit I'm using for wood storage right now. And the issue is, it's just too big. It's 24 inches by 51.5 inches, and it's just more storage than I need for my lumber. It's served its purpose, it's worked well, but in my 198 square foot shop, not 200, it feels a little cramped with it in here, so I'm getting rid of it. Okay, what makes this design different than some other designs? Well, it is a staggered design, which you'll see in a minute. So the bottom is 24 inches deep, but the top is only 8 inches deep. This will allow for different lengths of scraps. I got the inspiration for this cart from a cart that Tamara at 3x3 custom made, but the dimensions of this cart are a little different. I'm assuming, I don't know all the dimensions of her cart. And I included long lumber storage on this one cart, which she did not do. And I did that because I thought that would work best in my small space. Okay, it's almost time for mistakes were made. I am giddy with excitement. And then later we'll do Chaos Cam, which is another one of my favorites. Well, looks like I forgot something. I forgot to pre-drill all the middle holes for the middle divider. Not a huge deal, but when you think you have everything done and all you have to do is assemble the pieces, it is a little frustrating, but easily fixable. I went back and pre-drilled all the middle holes for that middle section, and we are good to go. I'm gonna need some help from you at the end of this video. When you see this cart, you will say, it looks pretty much done. I mean, I think it's done, but you may see a part of it that you think could be enhanced, and I want to hear your thoughts because I know you're gonna have a good idea. This is the most important part of the build because once this bottom section is nice and square, perfectly 90 degrees, then the rest of the sections will follow suit. If this bottom section was off, it would mess up the entire cart. Chaos Cam, here is the poop show, excuse my language, of my workshop at the moment. I was thinking about cleaning it up and then I thought, if you can't accept me for who I am, then you know what? Okay, that's enough. Okay, have to show you this one thing before I get to my point about lumber storage because I'm just so excited about them. I just picked up these two planes from one from a friend and then one from OfferUp, which is kind of like Facebook Marketplace. This one I think looks like a number 5 jack plane maybe, and this one maybe is a number 4 smoothing plane. I know nothing about hand planes, but from the little research I've done, that's my guess. And I am very excited to restore them. If you have any idea what brand or what type of planes these are, or have any information on hand planes you think I should have, please let me know. I would be excited to get that info from you. Okay, enough with the chaos. I have had these lumber racks from Bora for a while now, a few years, and I really like them. I mean, they're very simple. They don't need to do a lot. They just need to hold lumber. But I think this is a great solution for long lumber storage. The issue I have with those huge lumber carts is they're supposed to hold scrap wood and then longer boards and large sheets of plywood. They're trying to do too much. And what ends up happening is they're doing 3 things, but none of them very well. Where that Bora lumber rack, there are other brands, you don't have to get Bora. I know Rockler has a good one. But the lumber rack that I showed you does one thing and it does it really well, long boards. This mobile lumber cart that I'm building pretty much does one thing and it does it well, scrap wood. It does hold medium to longer boards on the side, but it does not get in the way of the scrap wood storage. But let me know what you think. If you've built one of those big lumber carts and you love it, let me know in the comments. And elephant in the room, I have never built one of those big carts. I just know for my small shop, it would just be too big. And for where I would put it, I would end up having to move it in order to get to some of the plywood in the back. In a little bit, you will see panic as I glue up the back panels, yes, plural, we'll get to that as well, to the back of the cart. And I will need your help naming that segment because it happens in almost every build. You would think that I would have the glue ups down Patrick, but sadly, I do not. I'm really excited about this part of the cart. It's a little detail, but having a section on this scrapwood cart where I can store medium to long lumber will be, dare I say it, a game changer. Okay, maybe not quite a changer of the game, but it'll be very nice. More pocket holes to install these vertical sides, and now I need your help with part of this build. I know we're not at the end of the build yet, but I'm just too excited to get your feedback because I know you'll have some good ideas. In the front left corner of this cart, there is an open space, and it will be left open. It's about 8 inches by 10 inches, and I think it'll be a nice place to set accessories during a project, tape measure, speed square, that sort of thing. But if you have a better idea of what I should do or add to this corner, please let me know. I am open to feedback. You can see the staggered design of this cart, which I'm really excited about. And it'll give you options for all different sizes of scrap wood. At the bottom, 24 inches deep, then 20 inches, 16 inches, 12 inches, and then at the very top, the tippy top, 8 inches deep. Earlier I said I liked pocket holes, and that's true, I do like them, but I also think that they're pretty ugly. So when I use them, I try and hide them as much as possible. If I'm using pocket holes for indoor furniture, I make sure they are completely hidden and you'll never see them. But for shop furniture, I have a little more leniency, but I still try and hide them as much as possible. So you'll see when I put this cart in its final resting place in my shop, that sounded like it was dying. The cart is not going to die, but when it's in its final spot, the pocket holes will be hidden as much as I could hide them. But after I put in the scrap wood, I'd be interested to see if you see them at all. It is time to glue the back to the back of the cart, and for some reason there is always a glue up during a project that stresses me out, and this was that glue up. Of course, I came up with several name options for this segment. Panic at the Glue Up, Mistakes Were Glued, Chaos Cam Glue Up Edition, the Glue Up Shuffle, Glues Blues, and my personal favorite, Gluey Kablooey. Let me know in the comments which one's your favorite, or if you have come up with a different name. I mean, why would I have figured this out before I spread the glue on the plywood? I mean, that would be crazy, way too good of an idea. Another great idea would be having a brad nailer, so I could drive in some brad nails and it would take, 2 or 3 minutes at most. But instead, I have a hammer, so I can hammer them in. It took me like literally 35 to 40 minutes. I have just not brought myself to spend a couple $100 on a brad nailer when I just wouldn't use it that much. But maybe I'm just not using brad nails that much because I don't have a brad nailer. I don't know, what do you think? It is oddly satisfying to hammer in these nails. There's a theory out there, probably, I don't know, that says if you have a certain amount of space, you will fill that space regardless of whether you need to or not. And that's what I feel like happens with lumber storage. I had this really big shelving unit that I had deemed this is going to be used for lumber storage. So I pretty much filled it up. But then when I was done building this lumber cart, I looked at all the lumber I had on there, and probably about 40 to 50% I knew I was never ever going to use, so I just threw it out. And it was actually pretty liberating. That's what I like about the size of this cart. There's a bunch of room for scraps, but not unlimited room. So it will force you to get rid of the stuff that you will never use. But of course, keep that 2-inch wide, 14-inch long piece of Babinga because you might use it in a cutting board in 4.5 years. I kept the 5 1/2-inch thick by 24-inch by 48-inch pieces of plywood from the shelving unit. I got rid of everything else except for the French cleat wall. I'm gonna use that and put that on my shop wall so I can use it for tool and accessory storage. Taking down this shelving unit was not too hard. I think it's roughly 3,000 pounds, tell your friends, but it's no big deal. All right, that is much better. That takes up way less space. So much more room for activities, very nice. Since you're thinking differently about shop furniture, I know you're really gonna like this video. I'll see you over there.